Morning, and we begin this 9 o'clock hour with what was a solemn farewell to Pope Benedict XVI.
Tens of thousands of faithful mourners watched from St. Peter's Square during his funeral this morning. Pope Benedict made history by resigning. His funeral was another mark of history, with a living pope presiding over the Mass.
And really, this was unprecedented. Joining us now
to share her perspective is former CBS 3 news anchor Pat Schrocky. Good morning, Pat.
Thank you, and good morning to both of you, and good morning to all of you. It really was a moment to absorb as you're watching history being made in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican. The first thing that struck me are the very first pictures that we saw after everyone was assembled. 60,000 people in St. Peter's Square. But what we saw was this: Pope Francis coming into and beginning the funeral mass as he's coming onto the altar. Typically, you would see a priest walk up to the altar, but because of Francis's condition, he has an issue with sciatica. He has bad knees. It's difficult for him to walk, difficult for him to stand, so he uses a wheelchair. As you know, so many others around the world do to help them. He needs the assistance of the wheelchair, but it put him into place to preside over the funeral of his predecessor. It was really a powerful moment. He did a beautiful sermon reflecting more on the gospel than on Benedict himself, but he did say that he felt that there was a wisdom in Benedict. There was a wisdom, a tenderness, and a devotion that he bestowed on all of us, as he explained. And he said, in light of that, he said, "Father, into your hands we commend his spirit." In a powerful moment for this theologian, for Benedict, the theologian, the conservative theologian, who held the gospel close to him, and symbolically close to him up to the very end. As you look at his coffin on the steps of St. Peter's, there was a book that was open. And the book that was open was the book of the Gospels. You know, Jim Janelle, something that was really a powerful thing to witness, and exactly the same as John Paul II, when he was being remembered at his funeral mass, the funeral mass that was presided over by Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, the man who then, a couple of days later, became Pope Benedict XVI. So there was some similarities. One of the big differences was the volume of people who came. So there were about 60,000 people who were able to be seated in St. Peter's Square. It was standing room only, essentially, at John Paul II's funeral. 500,000 people were in the square, and from the Basilica out to the Tiber, and then another 600,000 who were watching it on big screens all around Rome. So really powerful moments, powerful moments.
It's very, Pat, I may say though, with John Paul II, we were talking about a pope that was in office at that time.
Yes.
So that's the difference.
Yeah, it is.
Pope Benedict's kind of been off to the side for many years.
Yeah, well, he has been for almost 10 years. It was February the 11th of 2013 that he announced that he was going to step down. And the reason why, it wasn't because he wasn't mentally capable, but he felt he didn't have the energy. He was 85 years old at the time, interestingly, the same age that Francis is right now.
Wow, that's really...
And so he felt that he just didn't have the energy to take on everything that needed to be handled at that moment in the worldwide Catholic Church. You know, there were some scandals that were surrounding the Vatican at the time. It was a lot for him to carry, and he felt that there was an opportunity. He had chosen then to be called the Pope Emeritus, as opposed to the former Bishop of Rome, because the Pope is also the Bishop of Rome, and he could have just slipped into that title, but he decided to be Pope Emeritus, and what that did was that opened the door for him still wearing the white vestments.
Yeah. You're going to have a special guest in
I am, yes. Father Michael Romano, who is a priest who grew up outside of Camden, and he was at the Vatican when Pope Benedict was actually elected following the death of John Paul II.